So today we've got quite a few prints. We've got some Eusebi Deli t-shirt prints. We have one for an artist who's opening a gallery, and then we have one for a car run called the Cannonballs Run. That's for an event this weekend. And we also have a few other bits and bobs. So we do two different versions. We sometimes do what we call a gang sheet, where if we've got loads of little different prints to run, we gang them onto one big sheet and run that as one print. We'll get bigger orders like Eusebi Deli, they just get ran as individual prints on the sheet. But we'll be able to show you a gang sheet once we've done these. We're just waiting on the machine. So we got a brand new machine back in October. It's a Japanese DTF printing machine. It's one of the best on the market. The prints that are coming out of this machine are fantastic. The quality of them, the colour, but that also helps because of how we treat our machine and the inks and the powders and the other consumables that we use for the machine, so we can give you the best print that we can. We're doing it in the morning because I'm an early bird. I like to get stuff done early, and to be fair, this isn't even that early. It's 5 to 9 this morning. We're normally in here from like 7:30, but we had some logos to clean up and stuff, so we're running our prints now. But normally we're printing at 8 o'clock in the morning, so yeah, not too early today. I really love doing the prints on this machine. It's just exciting seeing them come out every time, and I quite like the process. That's our machine now going, so it does the prints little bit by bit. But I mean, this machine prints pretty fast. It's phenomenal what it does actually. The only annoying thing about it is it does the colour and then it does a white blocker layer on top. So sadly, it's not as if the prints are coming out in full colour. You don't really get to see the colour until they're finished, which is quite annoying. But yeah, it's still satisfying to watch. So first we've got the back prints coming off for Eusebi Deli's t-shirts. They've done a new run of uniform with a slightly different design on the back. So we are doing the back prints this morning. Once the t-shirts are printed later on, then we'll take them to the embroidery machine where they'll get their chest logos embroidered as well. So they're just printing off at the minute. It is very good at doing its own thing. Like, as long as you take care of it and keep an eye on it, it'll run everything pretty automatically, which is pretty good. So it's easy peasy. We like to get prints done first in the morning for a heat thing mainly. The summer in Glasgow this year has been really, really warm. We've been hitting really high 20s, which has made the print room really warm. The machine can operate in that heat, but for us, the heat that's coming off of this mixed with the outdoor temperature, we'd rather just get it done when it's cool in the morning, and then it's done, the prints are all ready, and then we can work on them later in the afternoon. So yeah, it's more for our sake to keep us all cool. Once we go into winter, that won't really matter because it's going to be freezing anyway, but yeah, that's what we prefer to do. But some days you've got so much print on that sadly you are running this machine all day long with prints, which can be quite warm. But if you've got a lot of prints on, that's how it is. So these ones are just all white prints, so we can do just like white prints for you. But then you'll see the next gang sheet we're putting in is really, really colourful design, so there's no limit on colour. There's no extra cost for all the colours as well. A lot of people ask us that, but you can have any design, and if you have hundreds of colours in it or two, it'll work out the same price for you. So that's pretty good. So this is like your tester print. This basically happens on most printers, not even for clothing, but for ones at home. It's just to make sure that the colours are coming out consistently. You have to clean the machine and run some tests every single morning to make sure that it's all fine. But this is just a little additional guide so that you can make sure that that stripe is coming out perfectly each time that the printer is operating correctly. It's just a little guide. These get snipped off at the end when we cut up our prints into the individual prints on their own. So this is like transfer roll. So we actually get two versions. We have hot peel and we have cold peel. We normally pick hot peel because it means we can apply it to the garment, peel it straight away, which is quicker for us, especially with the volume we're doing. If you have cold peel, you have to print the garment, then let the t-shirt sit and cool down for a couple of minutes, then peel it off and press again, so that can slow us down when we've got such big volumes coming in. So we personally use a hot peel transfer roll. Means we can peel the print, apply again another wee heat press for 10 seconds or so, and it just means we can batter through the orders. Cold peel has its benefits for like very intricate designs. I would normally recommend a cold peel roll. Let it cool, then peel it off. It means you have all the tiny detail and there's no chance of losing anything, but we prefer hot peel. So this is just transfer roll. And then we have inks that go into the machine, which we use the highest quality DTF inks, because if you put cheap inks in, you don't get the best results. So we've always stuck with high quality ones. And we also have powder that goes into the machine, and again we pick the highest quality fine powder just to help with your prints. Meaning that they're super durable and they'll stretch with the garment as well, so that's really, really important. I think people don't realise that like the better consumables you put through the machine, the longer your prints last. So we pay a wee bit more, but it means the customer's getting a better quality. So yeah, they're going to go into the next stage quite soon, once we get a wee bit further into the run. That's where basically they start to get coated with powder, and then they essentially go into an oven to bake. So that'll be an interesting part to show you. Well, I think we did come up with a name. It was something Japanese, because it's a Japanese machine, but I can't remember what we called it. It was something like sushi or something like that. I can't even remember. We do name all our machines. So we've got like embroidery machines. One embroidery machine we call Ronaldo. That's our new one. That's because it's new and amazing. We've got another one. I think he was Spanish, and he's Japanese. So he was called Sushi or something, this machine. And we've got a tiny little heat press, and he's called Dinky, and that's because he's tiny. So yeah. So this is just a general kitchen spoon. It's just to help scoop extra powder. So when we go through the next stage, you will see that powder is going to go onto the roll, but sometimes I like to just scoop a little bit extra. And that's for that. This is just a wee brush, just to keep the area clean. Your powder sometimes goes a bit everywhere, so we just like to keep that clean and put it back in. And these are just cutter tools, so it's a safety cutter, so you can't actually access the blade, but we run this along the transfer roll and that slices it for us, so that's all that is. But these are the free tools you've constantly got at hand. So I'm just waiting for this print to get a wee bit further, and then that's when we will start putting the powder on. What's quite good about this machine is you can run massive runs through it, and it will do basically an automatic run. But if you've just got one or two tester prints for somebody, you can literally cut this off and powder it by hand, put it straight in the oven and miss out this stage. It's quite good because it helps just do little runs, so that's very good. But we always just keep an eye on this. So I'm basically just pulling this transfer roll up, and I'm going to just turn the suction on this machine, which is a wee bit loud, but basically there is suction things here which hold this in place, and then this is where I can put the powder on, but I like to give it a wee dusting manually first. So I'm just running this over the prints like that. Powdering is one of the most important stages of creating DTF prints, I would say, because if they're not powdered correctly, then they will not print correctly and they won't stick to the garment. So this is the key step. So I like to be very, very heavy with the powder on the initial part. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this off the suction a wee bit, and I'm going to just run that down, just to make sure the first print has got a phenomenal coating, and then again just put it on to the suction. So there we go. Now you've got a big row of powder, I can then tell the machine to put on manual powder, and this will just start rotating in here and dropping powder down and onto the transfer roll. This is where it becomes quite automatic. You also can give it a wee tap, but you can also turn the shakers on, which we will do once we're a wee bit further into the print, and that'll just tap the powder off the sheet. So yeah, it is and isn't a lot of work. It's pretty simple, but at the same time you've got to make sure you're doing everything correctly to get the best out of your prints. Just even watching where you're placing it, on the oven here is quite important, just to make sure you've got an even coating of powder. So yeah, now we're on to the next design. So Eusebes are done, they're finishing, and we've got the artists' logos that are now getting done. So we've done this as a gang sheet because it's for a small run of t-shirts. So on a big sheet on Illustrator, we have grouped all the logos that we need for these t-shirts, because it's a lot of little logos, a few big ones, some nape of the necks. So it's easier for us to just do it all in Illustrator, make it one big file, and load that into the printer as one sheet, and it's much quicker. So that's what's coming out now. So depending on what size of print run. So again, this is coloured ones that are coming out now, but then sadly they get blocked with a blocker, so you only see the colour for a short period of time. What I'm going to do now is turn on our shaker just slightly, just to help tap that powder off, because any excess powder going through the machine will just bake. The machine is quite loud though, it's quite annoying. So when you're trying to speak to everyone, you're literally shouting. But it doesn't take long to do our prints. What's quite good as well is the machine tells you how far you've got to go. So we're at 53% right now, and we've only been printing for 5-10 minutes, and we're nearly halfway through, which is really good. So that machine is pretty much working as I need to now. Once it dips to a certain point, I will then put it on automatic, and this conveyor belt will start running by itself, and I'll put on the cooler for the back as well.
What's your favourite part of that, Lisa?
I quite like the powdering. I quite like making sure it's all well coated, and I'd say that's my favourite part. This part seems quite monotonous, where it's just like back forth with the ink. Sometimes that bores me a wee bit, but I like this stage. So what I'm going to do is, because it's going to run on automatic, I like to lift this oven a wee bit up. Just means that none of the prints are getting scorched, and I'm going to run this on automatic with the conveyor belt. So you'll see that that's going to start taking some of the prints through, but it will stop when it knows to stop, which is very, very handy. So we have the conveyor belt running on automatic, we have the powder running on automatic now, we have the beater running on automatic, and that is just doing its thing. So you're really just here to man the machine, make sure it's not doing anything it shouldn't be doing. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You're just keeping an eye on it basically. And then at the end, this is going to come out here and then get cooled by the little fans as well. %63 now, so we're getting there quite quickly. The good thing about this machine is we used to do all of this by hand. So we used to do a lot of vinyl printing, where we would get vinyl in, cut this on a plotter, and have to weed out all the excess. And if a logo had a few colours, you would have to do every single layer individually. So if there was a white background, do the white vinyl, apply it to the garment, weed the blue, apply the blue bit, then apply the red bit. Very, very time consuming. And then DTF prints came into the market, and we were outsourcing them from people, ordering them in and applying to the garments. But quite quickly we realised that that wasn't going to work for us, so then we invested in this machine, so it makes our life 10 times easier, and we can do stuff so much quicker for the customer as well. And it brings the cost down, so it's good. So everything's running perfect here. Still got a wee bit before it comes out. I might just lower this down a wee bit, keep it warm. This machine is operating at 115 degrees right now, with 72 degrees on this. So you can imagine it's pretty warm in here at the moment. So we're getting through quickly. We're now at 70% and we've been printing for 15 minutes. And to be fair, that's going to do about 10 orders this morning. Not 10 garments, but 10 individual customers' orders. So you can just see how quickly you can produce prints on this machine. What's really good about this machine is if someone can phone us up and say, I need t-shirts done within a couple hours, and we can literally get the logo, put it into the machine and apply it to the garment, and we can have them turned around within half an hour to an hour. So it's really, really good. It'll be good to show you the detail that's coming out of this machine. So the next prints that are running are for the Cannonballs run. We have some wild designs coming out for this. We've got all sorts. We've got sharks, we've got cars, we've got Monte Carlo, we've got Herbie the car, we've got all sorts. So this is a good example of a really busy gang sheet coming out, which at the end we will show you what we mean by a gang sheet. But again, it kind of keeps it hidden because it's doing its white print run, but when we flip this over at the end, you'll see how much detail is in this and colour. I just like to always keep an eye on my powder just to make sure that when that's getting beaten, that it's still even down there. It's not heavier on one side than the other. You want your powder to be like a fresh landing of snow across all your prints. Heavily powdered. So that's our prints coming out here at the end, and they're looking amazing. When we know a print has been done perfectly, it has to look like a tangerine skin. That texture on a tangerine is very, very prominent, and when you look at these prints to a tangerine, you'll know exactly what we mean. But that is the sign of a really well cured print. So I'm just checking to make sure that that's what we have, which is what we do have. And again, these are just coming out and getting a wee cool down at the end. Everything's going well there. So we're now at 81%. We don't have much longer to go. And what we'll do when this finishes is I'll slice along this with a wee tool, and then I'm going to hand feed that through the machine for the last part of its journey. What's amazing about gang sheets is we've got a few different customers that have maybe got small top-ups for their orders or one-off items. A gang sheet's great because we're doing so many customers work here on 1 metre, which is brilliant. You just fill the metre however you wish. And it means if customers have got a few different designs they want to do, then we just gang them all together. So it's very, very good. We also offer DTF printing to other people within the industry. So if you're someone like us, but you don't have a DTF printer in-house, or perhaps you've got a side hustle where you print t-shirts and you have a heat press, we also sell our gang sheets by the metre. So we can print the customer's logo for you, send it to you, or you pick it up and then you apply it at your home or your business. And we just charge by the metre, and it's a really competitive price. So that is something else that we do offer to people within the industry. So now we've got the shark ones coming out, which they're going to look amazing when they're done. They're really funny. But everything is running perfectly through here. So these are all coming out at the end. I'm just going to lift. So I just lift that over. That's just running over the edge. We do have an automatic thing for big runs that will put this onto a roll for us. So sometimes we have business to business customers who are ordering say 40 metres of prints. We would put them on a big roll for you, and you just come and pick them up, or we'll send them out to you. So we're at 90% now, and we've been doing prints for not even 20 minutes. So very, very good. This is a wee cropped apron. It's actually really short, so it's good for the females. I was just terrible for having things sitting everywhere in here, scissors, phone, calculator, all sorts. So I was like, I need a wee apron just to put all my bits and bobs in. So, and obviously added the logo to it as well, because obviously you have to do that. Handy though, it keeps your clothes nice, because terrible for rubbing powder and ink all over me, so keeps my own clothes good. So we are at 94% now, we've not got long to go. It's just finishing off the last few kind of big prints on the gang sheet, and then we should be done. So once these get off the machine, these will be getting cut up and taken straight to the heat presses, where we'll be applying them to all the customers' orders. So it's a very fast turnaround for them all. These prints are looking really, really good. The thing is, although this machine seems like really, really easy, it is like taking care of a newborn child. Like, it constantly needs cleaned, it needs monitored, it needs like fed with its inks, it needs its inks emptied, it needs calibrated, it needs a lot of work. You've got to constantly monitor it, and as long as you take care of it, it runs perfectly and it's really well behaved. But you have to take a lot of care of this machine. So that's us done, 100% hit. So I am now just going to push this forward manually, give it a wee bit extra roll, and then I'm just going to pop this mic down and I am going to run across here to show you the next stage. So we're now at the next stage where I am just manually putting this through, keeping an eye on what depth we are at. This normally happens just when you're at the end of your run. We do have some magnets here to help hold it in place, but I normally just do it myself. Again, keep an eye that it's even and there's a lot of powder. So I've just turned the powder off because we've got a lot of powder on the sheet now, and I've also turned it to manual because I'm now manually feeding this through. It doesn't need to operate on a sensor. So I'm just feeding the last bit. So the prints have now done their final end. That powder's just going to fall off the end of the sheet into a massive tray which is below. What's amazing about this is that this powder is recycled and used again, so there's no waste. We empty this drawer through a sieve and we sieve it, and once it's cleaned we put it back through and you reuse again. So there's no waste with the powder, which is very good. That beater will just continue just to make sure there's no more, and we will turn that off. So basically, once your prints are done, you start to shut down all the stages you don't need anymore. That's when it starts to get quieter again. So that is done. He doesn't need anything done, so we just close him over. There is no powder anymore operating. There is no more beaters operating because it's all been done. I have now shut the lid because we're back down to manual mode and it's running through perfectly. And these are just coming out brilliantly at the end. Operating fine, don't need to do anything here. And these prints are looking like it's just snowed, which is what we want. And they're coming out looking like a tangerine. So I would have said on this print run there, we have done about 4 to 5 meters of prints in just short of 20 minutes, which is really good. But sometimes it's quicker than that. If you had loads and loads of tiny prints on the meter, you could be getting thousands of prints done in 20 minutes, but it just happens to be we've got quite a lot of large prints today. But 5 meters in 20 minutes is very, very good. So it means if you are maybe having a t-shirt printing business and you've got an order for say 500 t-shirts, we can get your prints done super, super quick. Get them done in an hour or so, and then you'll be printing by the afternoon, which is great. So we're just keeping an eye on this. The machine's got suction at both ends, so it's also got suction at the back. That's just to make sure that it doesn't slide out the machine when you're coming to the end. So the transfer roll almost looks like it's got a texture on it. This doesn't impact the print, it's just knowing that the prints are really well suctioned onto the machine. So these are all looking phenomenal. Have a wee look under here. So we've probably got about half a metre still coming out. Yep. This again is roasting. That is a very, very warm bit, so we don't touch this really. This is our extraction, so we have extraction taking all the steam and other products out of the machine. Keeps us all healthy. So this is operating really, really good. Just popping that through a wee bit quicker because we're at the end. And then I'm just going to get ready to grab this. And then we will roll this up and we'll cut them up. So we've got, I think that's us maybe there. That's us. I'll just pull that last bit out because it's absolutely fine. And I will turn this off and I'll show you what these all look like. So once all the settings are turned off, we turn the oven off. It can be left on all day, but power, don't really need to use it. And heat, that thing is just going to continue to batter out 150 with 15 degrees, all day, which is not what we need in here in the summer. So when it's not in use, we turn it off. It can be heated up within minutes again, and we turn an extractor off as well because we don't need to extract anything right now. And we also have a lid for the machine, which we just pop back on. Again, just making sure that that powder that's left in the tray at the bottom is staying nice and clean. We don't want anything falling into the machine, and we don't want any dust in the machine. Again, always work tidy. Make sure all your powder is brushed off. Always leave a blooming tidy workspace. I hate when things are messy. Any powder that doesn't look super clean, just put that onto the floor and we will clean that at the end of the night. But any good powder, pop back in. And I just leave that in there and shut it down. And that is the machine done with printing. And now what we'll do is we'll cut these up, we'll take them over to the heat press and we'll show you how these are looking. So I'm going to just quickly show you what these are looking like before we take them to print, just so you can kind of see how some prints are grouped together and how some are gang sheets. But I'm just going to put my mic down. I'm going to just quickly show you what this roll looks like from behind, showing you all the colour. Giuseppe is done, so now we're going on to the artist prints for the gallery. Now we have the fun stuff. So this is a gang sheet. So this is a 1 metre sheet designed on Illustrator, grouping multiple customers' orders together. But we have some really cool ones here. We have Hooked, we have Herbie, we have some shark ones, we've got Kung Fu, we've got all sorts. But this is to show you what a gang sheet looks like.